One of the most iconic weapons in Cyberpunk 2044 is the speaking smart gun Skippy. Today we're gonna assemble and paint a copy of this gun. With that said, welcome to Jägerdom Miniatures. My name is Alex. Let's go! Before we can start painting it, we need to prepare some of the parts. The most cumbersome preparation part is the front side of the gun, where you can clearly see the printing lines of the filament print. At all the other edges we could just file down, but at this side we have the elevation of the muzzle hole, which is making this a bit difficult. To make my life easier, I try to fill the gaps with milliput to reduce the filing effort. In the middle of the gun there is a hole left to integrate an LED. In case you have some electrical skills, you may want to do that. In my case, however, I want to use a painted glowing effect, and that's why I'm closing this hole with a small ball of milliput. This is going to be our imaginary light source later on. As a last step, I'm adding some 3mm diameter magnets to the prepared holes in the magazine as well as the magazine slot of the gun. After the preparation is done, I start by applying a base coat with Citadel Standard Mechanicus Grey with my airbrush. You can also use a regular brush for almost all the steps I'm showing here. But to be honest, for a filament printed 3D model, I recommend using an airbrush, since you will have an easier time getting a homogeneous finish. The next layer is Vallejo Ghostly Grey, which we will apply to the whole model except for the handle and the trigger parts. When this is done, we will now apply Vallejo Sun Yellow to the top part of the gun as well as to the bottom part of the handle. The magazine gets a coat of Vallejo Flat Red. I then apply Vallejo Black to the trigger, the muzzle cap and the back of the handle with the airbrush. We now switch over to a normal brush to add some details with Vallejo Black, Flat Red, Magic Blue and Ghostly Grey. Black for the middle part of the gun as a base coat for the metal color, for the switches, the screws and the Arasaka logo. Red for the cable-like structures on the top and the bottom side of the gun. Blue for the Skippy letters. And Ghostly Grey for the small letters on the magazine, as well as the circles and lines at the side of the top part of the gun, where we're later going to create a glowing effect using the airbrush again. Before that, however, we're using Vallejo Gunmetal Grey to apply some metallic look. We therefore use a dry brushing technique where we wipe off almost all the color to a paper towel and then gently brush over the black regions where we want to apply this effect. In this case, the rough structure of the filament print is helping us to add some extra texture to the model. Before we start with the final touches, it's now time to assemble the whole model. Oh, this is already a decent look. We now use an old sponge where we rip up a tiny part of it and dab it gently into Vallejo Gunmetal Grey. This way we can apply some battle damage randomly across the model. We can also use this to cover up some mistakes we made here and there. Now to the glowing effect inside the chamber and on the circular lines at the upper part of the gun, as well as the niches at the side of it. We are using Vallejo Dead White with the airbrush again to apply it everywhere we want to create the glowing effect. When this is dry, gently cover these areas with Vallejo Magic Blue. Now we use a regular brush to apply a second coat of dead white to the center of our imaginary illumination sources, as well as some energy sparkles to the central rod inside the chamber. Followed by a second coat of magic blue with the airbrush. The last step is now only applying red glowing effect on the side niches of the gun with Vallejo Flat Red. Well, and there we are. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like or subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!